Yo, damn, well, I just felt a crazy breeze. I have no fan in here. Like I have no ceiling fan in here, but I just felt the crazy breeze. But yo, what's up? Yo, so this how we gonna start every John, right? We're gonna start every John off like this. You feel me? Welcome to a new blessed day. That's how we're gonna start that off. Cause when I started thinking about it, right? I started saying, dang, when we walk around and we say good morning, right? We say good morning. There's nothing good about morning. If you look up the definition, English, excuse me, if you look up the definition in the English language, morning is not a positive thing. When you speak of morning, morning is not good. So I'm not going to say good morning. No, I'm going to say welcome to a blessed day because today is another blessed day. Today I chose again to do what? Choose faith over fear. So that's how this is going to go, right? So this is day 6. You see? Day number 6. Why? Because the day it's like no, but look, this is day number 6. You feel me? Because the number that comes after 5 is 6. All right, cool. Let me stop with the trolling antics. You mean? Let me stop with that, and let's get straight to what brought us here today, and talking today. So let's just get straight to it, right? Oh man, um, I definitely need to fix my camera because when I look and I watch my videos, my shoulder posture and my here it's always like this because I'm always trying to hunch inside the camera because I need to extend it higher on the wall so that way I can stand straight up and talk to y'all. Right? So look, my man, my man, my man, man, my man. So look, right? Remember I told y'all, man, if y'all see my videos that I just uploaded yesterday, right? And I spoke about how God told me to go up there to go to work, and he told me to go to work, right? And I'm like, why? Like, just go. So I went, bang. Then, as y'all see the videos that followed, to where I really had a conversation with myself about how certain environments had an impact on me, and I realized, the comfortability that I had in those environments, but I also understood the exchange that I will be making if I continue to operate in that kind of way, right? And that I maxed out that player, right? That guy that's from Philly, like I said, you mean it came up in Kensington and all that. Like I maxed him out already. Like he's maxed out, right? Like this is time for an additional, evolvement of that guy, right? It's called evolution here in this world. Everything grows and everything continues to grow through evolution. We once used to talk on the phone through a wire. Now we talk through a phone wirelessly. Now we can FaceTime on the phone anywhere we at. Now we can do a live stream anywhere we at. You see how that goes? It's called evolution, right? Of that's what allows us to evolve. So never forget that you will and can and always evolve as a person. As a person, right? Evolution doesn't just happen with phones, right? Evolution doesn't just happen with the newest iPhone. Evolution doesn't just happen with the newest computer. Evolution doesn't just happen with the newest vehicle outside. Man has to evolve first in order for all these things to evolve after. None of these things will be possible or even thought of if man did not advance himself first. Remember that, right? Remember that, okay? These things, everything that's here comes after us, right? My home, the place I live, the food I have, the utensils I use to make them, the appliances that's used to cook the food, all those things man created. But man must evolve first in order for those things to even be. You get what I'm saying? Cool. So I said, dang, man. And like, y'all about to really get the real spill, right? Man, I got this I'm transitioning like I told you on my other video, I'm transitioning to a different job. And come to find out, the kind of money that I thought I'd be making at the other job is not gonna be what I thought it was gonna be. It's actually gonna be significantly shorter. And y'all don't know how much I kept thinking about this shit. Y'all don't know how much I kept coming back home, crunching the numbers. Like, okay, bet. Like, okay, bet. If I do this, okay, bet. Like, I'm the type of guy, y'all. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm so intentional, y'all, and I'm so down to detail about everything because I understand how critical and crucial it is to really understand everything that you have going on and to really be hands on and involved in things, right? Like, I do that to the best of my ability, you know. And like I said, I come to the point of time in my life where I understand there are things that I cannot see, right? There are things I do not know what's ahead of me. You feel me? But God knows what's ahead of me. God knows and God sees all things. But me as man, if I continue to only operate off what I see, such as the numbers that's on the paper, it is not good enough in my eyes. But remember, I can only see now for the what? For the now. You feel me? I can't really. I can see for the now. Like I can plan out and say, hey, well, if you make $3,000 a month and you make $3,000 a month and you times it by a year, well, you're bringing in roughly 36,000 a year gross profit, but not net, but gross profit. You feel me? And then you take every paycheck, you times about 25%, which is a quarter, because that's ideal. You know, ideally we pay 25% in taxes, you know, every paycheck, ideally. Some can be more, some can be less, but ideally it's 25%, depending on the state that you live in, of course. But me, I'm here in Pennsylvania, so 25% has always been a perfect cushion to calculate all my expenses by, to know the exact numbers or the very, very, very close ballpark of the type of numbers I will be bringing in. I'm usually off by like 10, 20, sometimes the most $50, but roughly it's all exactly what I thought it was going to be, right? So I look on paper, I say, fuck. I say, fuck, this ain't shit. I said, damn, this ain't nothing right here, man. I said, oh shit. I said, all right, bet. Sat there, kept looking at it, right? Oh yeah, this is what I was saying, man. I know, like I calculate my travel time to work, right? I calculate my travel time back home from work, right? And I calculate that over a week span to really understand how much time I'm spending at work. So I calculate the time at work, roughly 40 hours is a full time. 40 hours is a full-time schedule, right? And then you calculate your travel time to work, you calculate your travel time back home for work, you calculate your sleep, which is about 7 hours is ideally a good time for sleep. You calculate your morning routine, your night routine, you know, waking up, brushing your teeth, getting in the shower, things like that. That's about an hour apiece. That's another 2 hours on top of all the other things you're accumulating for, right? And then you add them all together. And then you take that total, and then you take that total, you minus it by the total hours available in a week, which I believe is like 160 or something like that, right? Something like that. I'm not sure. And then from that you understand how much time you have of free time. And once you understand the total time you have free time, you do what? You divide it by the amount of days in a week. So if you have, let's say for instance, let's make it easy. Let's say that you have 170 hours in a week, right? And after you do everything, you have about 70 hours left throughout the week for free time. Easy math will say what? You have 10 hours every day of free time, right? It's very simple, right? So I'm that punctual with everything that I do. I understand those things, right? So I'm sitting there looking at it on paper, and I say, fuck, this ain't shit right here. This money right here, this is not nothing right here. Then I was like, all right, well, this is not about me anymore. This is not about what Kayshawn sees. This is not about what Kayshawn wants. This is not about that. This is about having faith and believing in God and understand that He has the best thing out for you. So even though on paper it might not be suitable for you, you might be super uncomfortable with the circumstances that's right here. Understand that God got what? The ultimate vision for you. Because what you cannot see what's coming later down the line. You can only fathom what could possibly happen, right? And I might can see or have an idea of a couple months and this, but I cannot tell you what can take place on the day to day throughout the entire year. I can't tell you that. Or I can tell you where I will ideally be at work, but I can't tell you on the day to day what can happen, right? That's God, right? So I said, damn. I said, all right. I looked at it. Then I heard a voice. Hey, yo, bull. I said, yo, what's up? He said, It's time to put that pen to the pad. I said, all right, I got you. So what he meant by that, right? What God meant by that is this: I give you all. You guys are all unique in your own kind of way, right? I give you all skill sets. I give everybody here a skill set or a talent that's uniquely perfect for them. It's up to you to craft that skill set. It's up to you to develop that skill set. See what I'm saying? There's no skipping a line when developing a skill set for yourself and crafting your talent. There's no skipping a line here, right? Mine's evolved pencil and paper, and it's going to, it's going to continue to fruition into other things that evolve writing and evolve, planning and things like that, because that's where I'm really, really effective. I am a listen, I am a fucking savage when it comes to business. I am a fucking savage. Anybody who knows me, anybody who ever been around me in real life, when it comes to business, I am a fucking savage. Seriously, I am a fucking savage. Like, I'm so serious. So I said, okay, bet. So God, not only that, I'm an entrepreneur too. I understand the the world we live in, right? This place called America of supply and demand. I understand the dynamics and how this works. It's very simplistic. You buy something for lower and you sell it for higher. It's not rocket science. Trust me, it is not rocket science. You must find a product. You must find something to sell for at a lower price. Excuse me, you find something for sale. Excuse me, you find a product. You understand how much it costs you to create each unit. You then find a customer or a buyer and you resell it to them for a higher number. It's that simple. The first rule in business is your margin markups is times three, at least. So when you walk inside these stores, right? You say, oh shit, I'm getting a fucking deal in this thing. Damn, I just got this for the low. Damn, this is a store to be. Me, I don't think like that. Me, I say, okay, well, if he was able to sell this to me for $20 or $17, if I was to do a little number in my head, he probably paid about $5 for this. How the fuck was he able to obtain this item for $5 to sell it to me for triple the profit? What did he have to do to get that? That's how I think. You see what I'm saying? So when I see deals and I see things like that, I never get overly whelmed. Like, I just like, okay, well, something's going on right now that allowed this guy to have these type of markups. If I understand the system that went into place to do this, I can replicate it for myself and do the same thing, right? Like, that's how I think, right? So God say, yo, bro, I need you to put this pen to this paper. I need you to craft your talents. I need you to sit here and spend the time on doing those things. I said, all right, I got you. He said, this is going to be very crucial for you later down the line. I said, all right, I got you. I got you. And even as I'm saying this to y'all, this shit is just flowing. Like, I can feel my body like just vibrating. Like, there's so much truth and authenticity to this. Like, I'm solely believing this in my heart. I know this in my mind. I know exactly who said this to me. I know what's up. So I said, you know what? Remember he said something about that pot boiler example? Remember I told you that yesterday when I was reading? And in the book I was reading was referencing towards the pot boiler, and it talked about an artist doing what they love to do, and that as long as an artist does what he loves to do, he will create what? He will create the best work ever. He will create the best work ever. It also said, do not get confused. Do not get confused. Do not allow the perspective spoken by other people that a successful artist is not as impactful as an artist that is on the upcoming. It's not true. People try to say, oh, that guy has money now. Even with music, that guy has money now. That guy has a record deal now. He don't make the same kind of music that he made before. That's not true. So you want this guy to be broke and continue to his life being broke and continue to fulfill an aspect in your life, either if it's entertainment, education, emotional, mental support. You want him to stay broke? What? Who came up with this philosophy, y'all? It doesn't make any sense. You put your all into something. Let's go sports because sports is able to be generalized so much more easier because it's on a global scale. Everybody here understands sports and know what sports are. It's a global thing. But this guy, let's say in sports, man or woman, dedicates their life towards crafting their skill set and their profession to make it all the way up to the highest point of this profession, and you don't want them to get paid? You don't want them? You feel as though you should put a cap on how much they deserve to get. What? That quarterback or that wide receiver or that running back or that lineman or that defensive tackle that worked their fucking ass off when you wasn't looking, days and days and days and years and years and years, developing their skill set, developing their craft, separating themselves from other people who are all attempting to do the same thing. You don't want them to have an earning. You don't want them to have a lifestyle that will not only change their life, but the trajectory of the generations that come after them, because you said they will not be the same type of athlete if they did. No, 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 no. We're not doing that, buddy. So I say, okay, bet. I say, bet. All right, bet, guy, I got you. I got you. Let's continue to craft a skill set. Let's continue to put all this shit down. Let's continue to live day by day, excuse me. Let's continue to live and operate day by day. Have ultimate faith and trust in God. Right? I choose faith every day over fear. Every single day I choose faith. We're going to choose faith over fear today. Every day I get up, I'm going to choose faith over what? Over fear today. I'm not going to allow fear, false evidence appearing real to even have an existence in my life. Because I know what? I know that I come from the creator, the guy, the man, the God who created all things. I come from him. Why do I fear anything? I don't fear nothing. I come from God. Understand that. I fear no man. I fear nothing walking this earth. I come from God. Get what I'm saying? I don't. Why would I fear any rejection? Why would I why would I fear any obstacles? Why would I fear any of those things that's here? Remember, I come from God. There's no fear here, brother. Are you tripping? And I also understand too when I speak about things of being character builders that I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and we spoke about this, and we spoke about what the meaning of being equally yoked is, right? And this is very separate than what I'm talking about today, but it all goes in alignment with the overall message of what I'm saying. Is that I realized that in order to be equally yoked, there's experiences that teach you things that set the principles and perspective of the way that you do things and the way that you perceive life. Certain experiences teach you those things. And a lot of times that's very hard to understand unless you experience it yourself, right? So I can get on YouTube and I can tell y'all how bad Kensington is. I can tell y'all it's not fun. Even though to me, for majority of my life, it was very normal. But for the people that's very interested in seeing that and seeing the world, you know, that's down there because Kensington is his own world. Trust me, Kensington is his own place, right? You can be interested. You can be like, you can be like, oh my God, like fascinated by the lifestyle and the things that go on there. But until you live there, until you're in the circumstances of you have no choice but to live here. You have no choice but to find a way to get some money because you live here. You have no choice. Then you will understand what it's like to be down there. But you're a tourist or you're a visitor or you're there temporarily and you know that you have a home or somewhere else to always go back to, you would never fully comprehend what it's like to be there. Because on a daily basis, the mindset is completely different. Because there's no escape here, there's no leaving here. This is my life on a day to day basis. At one point in time, Kensington, I must find a way to win here. I must find a way to continue to evolve from this very place. It's completely different. So even though I can tell people about it, which I don't, you guys are not going to see that on my page. I may reference it because that's where I'm from, but it's me explaining it to you. It has no substance because you guys who never been there or even lived there will never understand. You see what I'm saying? So being equally yoked, being, like I'll speak on someone, choosing a partner that's equally yoked, that has a perspective very similar to yours, understanding to where we just have this connection, we have this understanding to where no words have to be said to understand what's going on here. I don't know about y'all, but being in those type of environments, you develop that sense that me and you can lock eyes, and I know exactly what you're thinking. I know exactly word for word what you're about to say before you say it because we have that. We have that understanding here. You see what I'm saying? Very few understand. Cool. So I'll leave it at this. I say, look, Kay, let's look at it from this perspective, right? This is why this is so important to craft. This is why this is so important to develop. This is why this is so important to put this time in right now. For all my 2K players, or for all the people out there that play games that you had to develop a character, right? I'm gonna give you two Johns right here, right? First John be this. First route you could take is buying all the points or whatever it is that you essentially had to earn to make your character better and stronger. You can buy them. You could do a direct buy and you could buy all the points that you want to put that player at his max, right? What usually happens is that once that player is at his max, that does not guarantee that that is a good player because you still have to learn that player. You still have to spend time with that player. You still have to build tendencies to understand the strengths of that player. And the only way to do that is to what? Experience. So you can have the max player, but you don't understand his capabilities because you skipped the line and you bought all the points first and you didn't put the time in to develop this player. You didn't figure out the strengths. You didn't understand those things. You skipped the line. But you still have to go back though. Remember that. You still have to spend time with that player in order for it to develop. Or you could take the second route, which is you grind with that motherfucker. You put the work in with that player. You put the work in with that character, and you learn all the strength components of that character. You learn what that character is really, really, really good at. And by the time you max out, boy, ain't nobody else gonna move like that player. Ain't nobody else gonna, let's say, 2K dribble like that player. Ain't nobody else gonna know how to in and out, step back. Oh no, stay on feet on land, three. You feel me? Nobody else gonna know how to do that but you. You can literally pass the controller to someone else, and they will not be able to use that player like you. And that's the key today. That's the message today. You must develop. There's no skipping a line here. You had to develop. So when God say, yo, boy, I say, yo, he said, you got crafting. He said, I gave you skills, I gave you talent. And on paper, it might not look like that. But remember, you're a fucking savage when it comes to business. You're a fucking savage when it comes to insightful information about different things and different topics. And I want you to display that over time. But you must craft it. I said, all right, got you. Let's get it. So that's just a quick something quick that I wanted to talk about with y'all today. You feel me? In this video, you feel me? Like again, God has a funny way of doing things, y'all. When I came home yesterday and I went through that whole little spill that I went through with the consistent uploads, I think I uploaded like 3 videos the other day. I was just trying to figure that out. Like, yo, like, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? But God knew my intentions in the back of the mind about a certain business venture I wanted to get into later down the line. He knew that. You feel me? And he showed me, look, bro, you can do that, but look at what you're about to exchange for that. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna do it. I know you're gonna do it. I created you. I know you can do those things. But I'm gonna show you real quick what you're really exchanging your value for when you decide to do that. And that guy, that guy that was about to go into that business, he was gonna be very successful at it, but you were going to exchange something so much more valuable that when I looked at it, the cons outweighed the pros. And I said, that ain't it no more. Crazy, right? All because he told me to get up and go to work. I'm like, why? Why? I'm like, all right, come on. I went. I said, all right, let's see it. Cool. And then he says, sit down. Put that pen in that pad. You displaying that you can do this. But if you put more time into it, if you put more time into your craft, if you put more time into your talent, the gifts that I gave you, this is going to take you where you want to go. Trust me. I said, all right, I got you. All right, y'all. That's day 6, y'all. Yo, welcome to another blessed day. Hope you guys have a blessed day today. Hope you guys continue to choose faith over fear today. Hope you guys continue to see the best in everything that you do. See the divinity of infinite intelligence out here. See the abundance that this world has to offer us. You know what I mean? Because you deserve it. You do. Mahalo at y'all.